Hey mom or grandma, this looks amazing. I can tell you put so much effort into it, but honestly, I'm so... Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of our Free and Fit podcast with your host Martina. Today, you guys, we're talking about how to handle social pressure and avoid overeating during this holiday season. And we're gonna talk about the art of saying no. So, all right guys, holiday season is here. I don't know how you feel about that, but I am just shocked. I cannot believe that it's December is here. The time flies by so quick, but it also means that the time when everyone becomes, I call them food pusher, is here. You've been there, right? You are at a family dinner or, someone just says, oh, just have a one bite, it's Christmas. Or maybe your coworker comes to work and brings cookies that they bake, and then you feel like you just have to have them because you don't want to be rude. Raise your hand if it's you. I know the social pressure is freaking there because we're all experiencing. But guys, let's face it, social pressure around food is at its peak this time of year. And for those of us trying to stay on track, it can feel so freaking overwhelming. But here is the thing. It is 100% possible to navigate these situations without completely ruining your progress or hurting anyone's feelings. So today, I am giving you actionable strategies to say no to overeating during the holidays without a guilt, without the awkwardness, and without missing out on the fun. So let's get into it. First, let's talk about why this happens. Guys, the holidays are culturally tied to food. It's how we bond, how we celebrate, and how we show love. And for a lot of people, offering food is a way of saying, I care about you. So when you say no, people might take it very personally, even though that's not your intention. I was talking about this on my in my masterclass because I'm European, and European people loves food, okay? And that's how we show love. And I see that every time I go home, my grandmas, the first thing that they ask when I open the door is like, are you hungry, right? That's just the European culture. But here is the thing. Their feelings about food don't have to dictate your choices. Your goals and your health at the same time, right? It doesn't need to dictate it. And how you feel physically after the holidays matters so freaking much. Now, I have a tip for you. I want you to recognize that saying no to food isn't saying no to the person. I used to feel guilty when my grandmas would make cookies and the foods that they just know that I love, and I would say oh my god, grandma, I'm not really hungry right now. I would feel like I'm hurting her, right? But the thing is that you're simply setting a boundary, and boundaries are a form of self-respect. Remind yourself, I am not rejecting their kindness. I'm just prioritizing what feels good to me. And I feel like over time, when you got into fitness, you're into okay, I want to take care of my body, I really want to be healthy. As your family sees that more and more and more, and they know that it's just not a one-time Martina's project, it's actually a lifestyle, they will understand. Because now when I come home, it's more so oh, I don't know if I have anything healthy for you, Martina. I know that you're eating, you don't eat too much sugar and things like that, right? So my family already knows. So at the beginning, it might be shock, and we'd be what? Since when you don't like freaking cookies, right? You've always used to eat them. But over time, they will get used to your new lifestyle. So again, instead of thinking, I have to eat this to make you happy, I want you to think, how can I honor their, kindness or gesture without compromising my goals? That small little tiny shift makes a huge difference. Now, I want to talk about strategies because that's what you are here for. You're probably, okay, give me the strategy. I get what you're saying, but how do I go about that? Here is how to handle these, I call them food pushers. Whether it's your mom, like I said, it could be your coworker, it could be your sister, it could be your best friend, like how to say no to the slice of pie that they're bringing and this freaking gold platter offering you, telling you that you need to have this slice of pie because it's the best pie that you've ever eaten. So number one is, I call it a compliment plus decline combo. This one is simple but so freaking powerful. For example, you could say, hey mom or grandma, this looks amazing. I can tell you put so much effort into it, but honestly, I'm so freaking full right now. I would love to take these home instead. That was actually something we talk about on the masterclass as well, right? So this is like super easy. And like every time I say that, no one is like pushing the food, right? They're like, oh, okay, you're full. Like I can, we can take it with you later. The reason also why it works is because you are simply acknowledging their effort with like, which softens almost like the rejection. You know what I mean? Another reason is also because you're giving them the alternative, right? I'll take it home. That keeps them from feeling dismissed. Simple. Another tip is, like you can blame it also like on timing, right? If you are, let's say, at the party, and you can use the the timing to your advantage. Say something like, hey John, I honestly just ate and I'm so full, but I'll grab some later. Or I'm pacing myself, right? Because I just finished eating. How and why this works is because it almost like shifts the focus away from you and onto the abundance of food. Most people won't really check back to see if you ate later. That's usually, they won't really come back and say, hey, did you have the pie that I offered you? No. And it's super polite and it's a way to decline without like really any confrontations or trying to be like, no, really, like I don't want to fight with you. I just said, no, I don't want it. Tip number 3 is make it about your health. And honestly, this is like something that I personally do because I'm like, this is the easiest. Like sometimes honesty is the best policy. You can say, hey, I've been working really hard on my fitness and nutrition lately, and I'm trying to stay mindful of what I eat. I appreciate your offering though, but I'm just not gonna really have any. Also, like you can be like, if you work with a coach, it's freaking like not cheap, right? Like coaches are expensive. So you can be like, honestly, like I'm working currently with a coach and I'm not on a like strict plan or diet, but I've been just like cleaning up my diet and I feel like really, really, really good in my own body. So I just not gonna have anything right now. I might grab something later, but you maybe know already that you're just not going to have anything later. But that's okay. That's what we are trying to do here, right? And again, it works because you're being 100% upfront about your priorities. And it also depends on like what tone you use. I personally, I'm just like straight up. Like I was like, no, I don't want, like it's very often it happens with alcohol because I don't drink, right? Like rarely, like if I have like one drink every 6 months, like I just don't drink alcohol. And people sometimes feel like if I don't drink with them, like I'm not on the same page or I'm not on the same like, that page. And it's like, no, like I can still have fun, but I don't need alcohol to have fun, okay? So I'm good. And you're also framing your choices as like self-care, right? Which is harder to really argue with a lot of people. Like people are just not gonna argue with you. So another kind of like a pro tip is that you want to maybe practice these responses ahead of time, especially when you like maybe at the party, right? And just imagine like you standing there like looking around, and now there's like your coworker bringing 2 plates of like dessert, and you know that the coworker is bringing it for you, so you can be like thinking already, like pre-framing what are you going to say just to sound more confident, and just practice it and then just say it. Now I want to talk about how to navigate like these all-day events without overeating, because holiday parties or gatherings in general often last like literally all freaking day, and that can be, or that it can make it like very easy to lose track of what you are eating. And so here's how I stay in control, and I want to give you these tips. So number one is, do not freaking arrive hungry. Guys, this is a big one. If you skip meals to save room, like we say, like I'm saving room for later, you're literally setting yourself up to overeat. Instead, having like a one, instead, I want you to have a one like balanced meal throughout the day, like have like a protein, healthy fats, fiber. You can keep like your overall like carbs a little bit lower, because a lot of foods is like load up with carbs. So maybe just be a little bit smarter and just keep your carbs a little bit lower, but eat during the day, right? Like start your day with your freaking breakfast. You don't need to starve yourself. Like make yourself eggs, or make yourself like avocado toast. For lunch you can have like the salad. Just like have something to eat. Do not starve yourself. The reason why this works is because you're not going to feel like so like anxious and hungry and hangry at the same time the moment you arrive. Because if that's the case, you're gonna run to the freaking buffet and you're gonna eat so much more than you were planning, and that is where the problem is. Like you are going to overeat. Number two is survey before you serve. Now, what that means is, before piling up food on your plate, I want you to take a walk around the table, because usually it's like a buffet style type of food, right? And check out all of the options, right? Then think like, look and choose like 2 to 3 options that you really love, and you're like, okay, I really want to have this meal, right? And then literally go grab the plate and put on the plate the things that you want, because there's sometimes so many options that you can feel so overwhelmed, and then you end up loading up the plate with things that you actually didn't even really want, but then you feel like, oh, I don't want to waste the food, so I'm just gonna like eat it, and then you overeat. So the reason why it works is because you will feel so satisfied because you're truly eating the foods that you enjoy and not just grabbing whatever, really. I used to do that because I was like, oh my God, we call it in Czech that we have like big eyes, which means that like when you see the food, you're like, I want to eat all of it, right? And then you just like, and I don't like wasting food. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just going to eat all of it. And it's like, shit, like I'm so full. Another rule or tip on how to do not overeat on these like events or at these events is use the one plate rule. If it's a buffet style meal, like I mentioned, that's usually how it is. Stick to like literally one plate of food. Fill half of your plate with veggies or salad, a quarter with protein, and a quarter with carbs or dessert, because you can still have dessert, you know it, right? You don't have to be like, oh, I'm not allowed to eat sugar. No, that's BS. Like you can still have it. Just allow yourself to have a little bit, and don't eat like 4 plates of freaking desserts. Now, another big thing, you guys, is stay hydrated. Keep a glass of water in your hand. Like you will actually never ever see me to leave my house without my water bottle, ever. Like there are times when, for example, we go to Costco and I tell my boyfriend's like, oh my God, I forgot my water, and I literally like jump out of the car and I'm going to get my water, because it's just a habit and I just need to stay hydrated. Not only does it help with portion control, but it also gives you something to sip on. Obviously not from like your bottled water that you normally drink, but have like, a glass of water and just like carry it everywhere with you. What else? Managing your mindset around food is a big one. That's like I want to touch on, because guys, let's be honest, a lot of pressure to overeat comes from ourselves, not just other people. The holidays can trigger a lot of this like all or nothing mindset thinking thing, right? Well, you kind of say like, well, I already had 1 cookie, so might as well, I'm gonna eat 5 of them. No, this is wrong. The reason, here is kind of like how you can shift this mindset. I want you to focus on the big picture. Remember, first of all, 1 meal or 1 treat isn't going to ruin your progress. What matters is consistency over time and not perfection. Then you also remember that holidays are about connections and not always about food/calories, right? You want to sometimes just remember that's like, okay, I'm gonna focus on having a good time with my family, having a good conversation, right? Throwing out jokes, just have a good time. And don't focus just on the food, because I feel like a lot of us feels like this urge of like, I need to eat this because I only get to eat this around Christmas, and then I won't have the opportunity to eat this food after, so I'm just gonna like stuff my face, feel like a garbage next day, but all well happened, right? Try to not think like that, because I used to be like, I was telling on the masterclass that we just ran this week that I used to be like, oh, like very traditional like meals for us in Czech Republic where I grew up is a potato salad with deep fried fish. And that's just a dinner, right? That most families have. And we often don't really do like, we don't do that much. Like we don't make a potato salad like constantly in the year. Like we do it like once in a while, like, but usually it's just a Christmas dinner. Anyways, what I'm trying to say that I used to be like, oh, I need to eat this potato salad because it's only for Christmas and I love potato salad. Instead, now I'm just like, hey, like, if anything, I can literally make this potato salad tomorrow again or in a month. Like there's no such a thing that the food is no longer gonna be there and available for us. So I think that that's a huge mindset shift. And another thing is also learning how to let go of food guilt. If you overeat a little bit, or I don't know, it's, you might eat a little bit more. I want you to really acknowledge it. You want to enjoy it and just move on. You don't need to punish yourself with extra workouts or restrictive eating the next day, because what's going to happen is going to bite you in your ass. What's going to happen is that you're going to literally tell yourself, oh, tomorrow I'm just not going to have breakfast and I'm just going to start my day with tons of cardio. I'm going to drink 4 liters of water and I'm just going to starve myself because I overate today. Well, you know what's going to happen, because it happened to me a million times. I lasted till noon and then I was so freaking hungry that I would literally go and eat freaking 2,000 calories in one sitting. Bam, right? You don't want to do that. Just freaking move on. Nothing's going to happen. And quite frankly, overeating during Christmas happens to all of us. Like, let's be just honest. Like, no one is perfect. And if people are like, oh, I'm always saying I'm trying. No, like, I mean, I always say, and this is what I teach our clients, like memories over macros. Like don't eat like an asshole, but enjoy the time. And don't be so focused on like, oh, I have to like hit my calories on point, right? No, Christmas is not the good time to focus on that, but don't eat like an asshole. That's all I'm going to say, Anyways, guys, okay, I think that that's it. I feel like I covered a lot. I hope that this was helpful. Just remember, you don't have to eat everything to be part of a celebration, but enjoy the foods that you truly want to enjoy, and no shame there. Just enjoy it, move on. And remember that you also don't have to sacrifice your goals to enjoy holidays, because you can 100% do both. This is exactly what I'm doing this year, and I hope that you're gonna do the same. So thank you so much for tuning in today's episode. If you found this helpful, you guys share this with a friend who is maybe trying to navigate this crazy holiday pressure too. And remember, you absolutely got this. One good choice at a time. Guys, until next time, I hope you guys are going to have the best holidays. I'm gonna talk to you soon. And last thing I was going to ask, if you're listening to this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please go and leave me a review, because that's really the best way how we can grow this podcast. We have over 30 episodes. I am trying to be so consistent with doing 3 episodes a week right now, and your support literally means the world to me. And the only way how we can grow is with your help. If you leave the review, whether it's like 2 words, like, hey, I love this podcast, whatever, just please leave me a review. I would really appreciate it. Until next time, have the best day ever. Bye.